Hello everyone, this is Mike Newman again from Illinois Prep Harrier and DieStat with another Friday weekend preview show for the week ending September 15th. And taping this here on a late Thursday night after the Bears game. So hopefully I can be a little more enthusiastic than the Bears were today. And if you're a Green Bay fan, shh, I don't want to hear from you. Okay. There's one big meet that's going on this weekend, and that is the Richard Spring Memorial Invitational hosted by Peoria, Notre Dame at Detweiller Park. Second major invite at Detweiller in as many weeks. Hopefully the conditions will be a little bit better. Last week it was kind of muddy. Not muddy, but the grounds were soft and it's kind of windy going up the coming down the home straight. They're saying that the conditions are going to be a little bit better, so we may see some faster times. 44 rated teams in this meet. This is a monster of a meet. 22 on each side, on the boys and the girls. And if you want to count Pleasant Valley of Iowa, who has a great team on the girls' side, that's 45 ranked teams. It's going to be a big meet. You're allowed to run 10 runners in the varsity in the frost-off races, so you could have potentially 700 runners on the line at Detweiller. So some use it as practice for state meet. Hard to say. I mean, when you have that many runners, it'll make it easier when you get to state because there won't be that many runners there. But we're going to see two fantastic races on the both varsity levels. Let me go back to why the meet is named the Richard Spring Invitational. Richard Spring was a runner in my era. He ran for Peoria Bergen High School. He was an all-state runner in Class A, and went to Augustana College, and he passed away while he was at Augustana in 1982, I believe. And so this meet is named after him. Great runner. Back in my day, one of the top runners in 1A, and fitting that this invite is named after him. So, let's talk about the girls' race first. Like I said, 22 great schools there. Pleasant Valley of Iowa defeated Naperville North 2 weeks ago at their own invitational, and they could cause some problems. But I think it's going to come down to 3 teams on the girls level. Number 1 team in the state right now is Glenbard West. And now there's a mix between that. The coaches poll has Naperville North at number 1. I have Naperville North at number 3. But like I've told you guys, it can be any team could be number 1 right now. It's so evenly matched in 3A. Glenbard West should have their number 3 runner back, Caitlin Reich, I think it is, along with Madeline Perez and Lisa Luzak. So that's a good 1-2-3 punch. Last week, Glenbard West lost to Lake Park. Lake Park has a great team. They ran well on their home course, beat Glenbard West by 8 points, 61-69, and they're going to be looking to go for 2 in a row against Glenbard West to show that, you know, hey, it wasn't our home course that did that. They have a great team. The other team to watch is Palatine. Everybody forgets about Palatine, but 2 weeks ago at Hinsdale, they were only 9 points behind Glenbard West. They ran a 36-second split. Keys for this, for the team battle. It comes down to splits. The gap between Glenbard West 1 and 2, and then the 3-4-5. The 3-4-5 has stayed within 20 to 22 seconds. They need to do the same thing on Saturday. Lake Park, their split has gone down. The gap between 1 and 2, between Kaylee Flanagan and Sam Montalbano, excuse me, Sam, for messing up your name there. It actually went down last week, even though Kaylee sizzled at 16:27. So even though the split went up to 51 seconds last week, their overall split diminished, I think, like by about 2 or 3 seconds. So the key is going to be the gaps, and can Plainfield score enough points to win the meet, or as few points to win the state, to win this invitational state meet, where, boy, I'm already rushing towards November. As few points as possible to offset the low numbers by Lake Park with Flanagan, and with Glenbard West with Perez and Lusac. It's going to be interesting to see. The gap for Glenbard West between 2 and 3 is 74 to 75 seconds for the last 2 meets. Has to come down a little bit with those 2 runners still running fast. So, and it could happen with Glenbard West with their full lineup back in. We'll have to wait and see. Lake Park, gap needs to come down a little bit more. The split between 2 and 5 needs to come down to about 45 seconds. In Palatine, Wasowitz and Tess Wasowitz and Jess Lincoln, they need to be anywhere from the top 10 to the top 15, those 2 runners, and then keeping that split even at 42 seconds. I think they could do some real damage here. The individual race, I think, is going to come down to Kaylee Flanagan again and Madeline Perez of Glenbard West. In the preview that I wrote up, that you can go to illinoisprepharrier.wordpress.com, like that. If you go there, I wrote a little more in detail on how Flanagan could be beat, and it's interesting. Amanda Fox did it last year. Look at how she did it. I don't know if there's anybody in the field who can do that. If Perez hangs back a little bit and then moves up that second mile, maybe, but we'll see. There's other great runners in the girls' race too. You have Kelsey Yorth of, I hope I pronounced your name, Kelsey, correctly, from Oswego. She's a great runner. Emma Fisher from York. Likes to go up front early on and then hang on. She'll probably be with Perez early, and we'll see what happens there. Another runner who is 5th in the green division at the Forest Park Cross Country Festival in St. Louis, Jill Whitman from Core Jesuit Academy in St. Louis. She could pull a surprise too. Many other runners in there. I listed them in the written preview. Go check that out. There are 35 to 40 real good runners in this race. That's why this meet is probably the second best meet in the state this year, behind the state meet, of course. Let's go to the boys. I don't know where to start. I think let's start with the individual race. I think it could be a toss-up in any number of ways. I think you're going to have the 2 Belvedere North guys, Tyler Young, Garrett Lee, and also the 2 O'Fallon guys, Alex Reba and Patrick Perrier up there. I think the race is going to go under 14:30. Conditions are going to be better, and both of these guys, both of these duos like to take it out hard. Don't forget about Caleb Beck from Oswego. Ran 14:36 at St. Charles a couple of weeks ago. He could be in the mix too. And York, let's not forget about York. Nathan Mraz, if he's running, questionable if he's going to run right now, hard to say. Scott Milling of York should be up there, and then York has a strong pack, but we'll get to them. We'll get to the team aspect of the race in a minute. Like I said, both of these teams will push the pace. Both these duos will push the pace early. We saw last week at Lake Park where Garrett Lee and Tyler Young took it out 4:40 the first mile. I think we may see the same thing here. Maybe 4:40, 4:45. We may see a little more conservatism in there. Boxes, they're all the top 3 teams, O'Fallon, York, Belvedere North, are all from 38 on out. Palatine is in box 62, I believe. Palatine could shock a lot of teams here too. Interesting to see how the individual race, there's no individual favorite here. It's a toss-up. which makes going to Detweiller Park a little more fun. At 11 o'clock on Saturday morning. Could be interesting. Team. Well, let's put it this way. This is York's chance to show what they have. And they haven't raced. Well, they actually raced, I'm taping this on Thursday night, as I said. Earlier in the evening, they ran their first dual meet against a pretty good Oak Park River Forest team, an Oak Park team that came within 3 of Lake Park, and got second last week at Wakanda. York made it look pretty easy. They put 10 runners in before Oak Park's first, and the pace wasn't. It progressed as it went along. It was a very good tempo run for the Dukes of York. Their split was under 5 seconds. So, I mean, it's a dual meet, so we don't know what's going to happen in the team race. Key for York is a pack, and they have quality runners. They have the potential to have a 30-second split with 5 runners in the first 20 or 25. That's how deep this team is. With Milling, if Miraz runs, Mattis is a strong runner, has improved immensely. Alex Minlitz, who was one of their top 7 2 years ago on their state championship team, he's healthy and he's running good. Chris May, Jack Liebert, they have a sophomore, Matt Plowman, that could be up there as well. This is a dangerously deep team that could score points. And I've seen things on the internet. York's could run all their 7 under 15 minutes. Gang, guess what? Middle of September. If they do that, then there's going to be a lot to question about, because are they peaking too early or anything like that? Let's wait and see what they do. O'Fallon, number 2 in the state behind York, been running great. Won easily at Granite City. Looked great against some great Missouri teams, and now they come up to Peoria. You have the duo of Reba and Harrier. Dorian Gordon, the talented sophomore, was 10 seconds behind the Harrier and Reba last week at St. Louis. Needs to get a little bit closer. And Coaster and Stephen Chorma, their 4 and 5 runners, need to get a little bit closer to Gordon. Split was 65 seconds last week. The week before it was 86 seconds. They really need to have it between 50 and 55 to have a chance to go after York. The other team, Belvedere North. Belvedere North looked good last week, going 1-2-3 at Lake Park. Their problem, their Achilles heel, is that split, the 1-5 split of 87 seconds last week. That needs to come down on Saturday. One thing that I mentioned in my article is bringing up freshman Eric Young for this meet. He ran the frosh soft race last week at Lake Park. He looked easy running 9:51. I mean easy. He wasn't sprinting at the end to get that time. He looked very relaxed. And the key for Belvedere North here, last week Paxton Menard went out a little bit slower, and he ended up only 10 seconds behind Tyler Young. And before, he was like 25, 26 seconds in the first 2 meets. Needs to have that same approach and just work his way through it. If he takes Eric Young with him, if they run together, this freshman has the potential to do that. It gives 4 runners that could be in the top 15, and then they're going to start looking for their 5th runner. But having 4 runners in that 15 may counter attack York. So it's going to be interesting to see. And there are a few other things that are mentioned in the article that you can look at IllinoisPrepHarrier.wordpress.com. Go to that. Other great meets this weekend. I won't go into detail on any of them. Down south, some good 1A meets at Tuscola and Bureau Valley. A mix of 1A, 2A schools at the Olney Invitational at East Richland. Good invitational at Dunlop, also at Edwardsville. When we get closer to the Chicagoland area, there's a great flighted meet between some good 2A and 3A schools at Manuka. Also a good flighted meet where it's individual against individuals and flights at Woodstock, the Burn Festival. Canelan Invitational, great invite there. Could see some great individual battles between Sammy Staples, if she runs from Crystal Lake Central, Victoria Clinton from Caneland, and Laura Van Blerigan, I think that's right, Laura, from Jacobs is in that meet too. So we could see some good battles there. Where did I forget? Warren, Libertyville. We're going to see Nutrier up there. We're going to see, there's some other good teams. Prospect is there. Fremd is there in the girls team. So could be interesting, and the boys team. So it could be interesting there too. Also Argo at Bullfrog Lake. And also the Connolly Polka Invitational at Turtlehead Lake. Was going to be could have been a nice battle between the Jones Prep guys and St. Ignatius, but since the Chicago Public Schools are still on strike as the time that we videotape this, they're not going to be running. Jones is supposed to run next week at Palatine too, so hopefully that everything can, both sides can get together and we can get this settled so that these young men, not only in cross country but in other sports in the Chicago Public League, can get back to participating in after school sports or intercurricular sports. I think I said that right. Any case, also questions of the day, send them in. I received a few good questions this week and we'll read them on Monday on the Monday morning finish line. Also, you can send them to Newman il@gmail.com. Also, we'll talk a little bit more Monday about the new DieStat site. There is a new DieStat site coming, gang. I'm excited about it. I'm involved with it. And we'll talk a little bit more about that on Monday. So, everybody have a great weekend. You're going to need sunblock if you're going to Peoria. It's going to be a warm day down there. Enjoy yourself. I'm going to be all over the course. Say hi to me if you want to, and have fun out there wherever you're going to be at this weekend. So that's it for me, and we will see you soon. Bye.